My name is Steven. Were you expecting Adam today? I know that there's Adam versus the Man and Adam versus the Man. It's fucking pretty good book, actually. But every now and then, we say fuck that. And we say, Steven, do whatever the fuck you want to do. And, well, I am Steven. In a classical Steven manner, let me answer that. We're going to do Steven versus everyone. Oh, my bad. But you say why? Why, Steven, are you versus everyone? And it's not that I'm versus everyone. So I'm versus all the dumb motherfuckers. And most people are fucking dumb. And when you say Steven versus all the dumb motherfuckers, nobody thinks that I have an issue with you, when indeed I probably do. So here we are, America, or at least 100-ish people on YouTube. Here we are. I'm gonna fuck your world up today. Jim, will you throw Mercedes on the screen?
There is no Jim. There is only
Hello,
us.
Mercedes.
Hello. I'm busy being a mom with a toddler. How are you? Would you lay down? Okay. Thank you.
I'm well.
Hi, how are you? Yes. Hello. Hello. How are you?
So we're doing the show a little bit differently today because, as you can
Yes.
tell, I am not Adam Kokesh.
I am definitely not Adam Kokesh.
And the trees in the background show that this is not Gardenia. This is Northwest Georgia.
Yep. Y'all know where I'm at.
Nebraska, the land of the corn.
It's actually, Nebraska means the land of flat water. So let's get it right. And Chicago means the land of smelly onions. Okay. And Tatanka means wolf. Right? Yeah.
Why the fuck do you know that dumb shit?
Because I live in Nebraska and I care about the heritage of my land, which is native in nature.
It's not your land.
You're right. We all live on stolen land, so it's good to know from which we came.
Yeah, you stole it from me, you fucker.
I did no such thing. I'm indigenous Mexican.
Now people wonder why I have guns. It's because my people get their shit stolen.
Tatanka's buffalo?
Tatanka is buffalo, according to Jim Freedom.
I mean, I thought it was, and then someone told me it was wolf. I'm like, that's not right.
So
thank you, Jim.
I feel like we've got like 40-ish people. The number's backing around a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But we've got enough people to kind of...
Tatanka Owachi means dances with wolf, not...
Well, so let's talk about what we're doing today. We're going to do this a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Adam is in Kentucky. What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
I have some dumbass retard redneck neighbors that have dumbass retard redneck kids, and I want to kick the shit out of them every now and then. I'm going to wait for them to get violent with me. I'm just going to wow.
Steven, you're making my dog bark.
You have headphones on. Your dog can't see me.
What's that? What's that? What's that?
So
now I can look at comments. Hi.
We're going to do 4 30-minute blocks-ish, probably 4 20-minute blocks, and Adam's going to come in and talk. But if there's anything that you would like to do, anything that you would like to talk about as a viewer, whether you're already a co-host, or you're in the Producers Club, or you're watching every day, or a couple times a week, or this is your first time, go ahead and click the links. We're going to throw that link up real quick. Throw that link into your bar, and we will allow you on the show. And we would like to keep it mentally healthy stuff. But if you've got other plans, that's cool. And the cooler, I think, what you have to say is the longer you get to be on. So don't be cool, but be Steven cool, which can be different at times. All right, so do we have Jim back?
Yes, and we already have someone who's clicked the link.
Is it
Already.
the random Texan?
Yeah.
All right, let's throw the random Texan on before we get started. What is up, Texan? Are you actually from Texas?
Yes, actually, I didn't think my call would go through here, but now I don't know what to say.
Well, shit. So, you called. What were you? Were you wanting to talk about mental health stuff, or gun stuff, or libertarian stuff? What were you wanting to talk about?
I guess my big question here, that I wanted to ask, Adam, actually, in the study of like political science, right?
Yeah.
The system is set up in such a way towards, I guess, how would you say it? Like Duverger's law, if you know what that is.
Tell me what you're trying to say. What is Duverger's law? Like, how do you perceive it? I guess.
Well, to put it simply, Duverger's law basically explains in a way that the system is set up to where people are pretty much forced into a two-party system. So, with that being said, and the only example we've ever had of a third party ever like being able to get anywhere, and even then they wouldn't have even been close, which was Ross Perot back in the day. How would libertarians, I guess, reach, or any third party, for example, reach any place to where we have like any real say in, government? Because it's very confusing, like actually studying political science.
Yeah. So when you talk about, I'm going to take the question. I'm going to rephrase it a little bit. How do libertarians make themselves relevant? Well, so I voted Jo Jorgensen this year. I do not regret it. I wish she would have gotten more than 1% of the presidential vote. The most successful campaign, the most successful election that I voted in, I'm in Georgia, and we had 2 Senate elections this year, which is odd, but it happened. One was what we call a jungle primary. So the way it works, you go to the Secretary of State's office and you say, I want to run for I want to run in the election. I want to run for senator, and they put your name on the ballot. It doesn't, like, nothing matters. So there were 27 or 29 people on the ballot. The 3 highest voted for people was the Democrat who won. Who was he? The black preacher from Atlanta that's not really a preacher. Somebody real quick look up his name for me. And if Mercedes, if you'll do that for me. And then a buddy of mine ran, and he was libertarian, and he got 3rd. And the way that we did it was we campaigned, and we campaigned, and we campaigned, and we campaigned. And one of his highest election areas was my county. He does not live here, but I obviously do because it's my county. And the reason that we got the highest percentage was for 2 reasons. One, I'm a semi-decent recruiter and was able to recruit people to come join me and help me do polling. 2, I live in a county of, I think we're the smallest county, we're like 20,000 people. So if I get 10 people to each have 200 conversations, knock on 200 doors, that's 10% of the county that is reached, and you can do that in 2 or 3 weekends. And I think that we potentially talked to 80 or 90% of the county, and he got 27% of the vote, which is amazing for a third party in an election that high. And then Shane Hazel forced a runoff. So there was in Georgia, if you do not get 51% of the vote, then they knock off. If there's more than 2 candidates and one candidate doesn't get 51% of the vote, they cut it. They cut the bottom guy off, and he got like 7. And what is interesting about Shane is Shane didn't spend any money. I think Shane spent $38 for his filing fee. I don't think Shane spent any money anywhere else, or at least that's how he advertised it to the public. And what he did was he had a YouTube channel. He had a really good show. At the time, it was The Rebellion with him and another gentleman. And then that gentleman and him had a falling out that was extremely private. I've asked about it. They're both Libertarian Party of Georgia members, and the other gentleman has since left. I don't know what his deal is. I contacted him, whatever. But Shane was at all the debates. Shane was constantly hitting the streets of Atlanta. Shane was constantly giving things away out of his own money, out of his own pocket. And he engaged people. And Shane by profession is a salesman. And when you listen to him talk and when you watch him interact with other people, it's very obvious because he makes you think that you're running the conversation, and he would do things like, well, what are your main concerns? And somebody would say, well, I'm really pro-gun. And he would go, yeah, I think that you should. And he never said anything he didn't believe, which I think is important. And he would say, I honestly think that if you can afford a tank, you should be allowed to own a tank. And if somebody was pro-abortion, he would leave the guns alone and he would talk about abortion. And per dollar, he had the most votes per dollar. He spent, I know, less than $100. I think he only spent $38, and he got 3% of the vote. And once again, that's because he engaged people, and because he had an army of guys around that were engaging other people. And I think that the way that we become relevant is we non-combatively engage people. We don't tell them how they're fucked up and how the libertarian ideology will save them from their fucked upness. I don't think that we... here's the deal. I own and love my copy of Economics in One Lesson. Most people don't give a fuck about economics in one lesson. Most people don't understand basic economics. Most people don't care about basic economics. So the way that I think that we become relevant and stay relevant is we engage people and we talk about what they want to talk about. If you wanted to have me hammer on, you would talk about veteran suicide and guns and Jesus. You wouldn't ask me what color I think we should paint a wall, because I don't give a fuck. I think that the way that we become relevant is we make ourselves relevant. The reason that the Democrats and Republicans kind of run the show right now is because they have a bigger base, and out of that bigger base, they have people that are always engaging. We're in April of 2020, and CNN and Fox News and Reuters and Drudge and all Liber TV, Louder with Crowder, the Hodge twins, all of these people are constantly engaging in politics. They can say they're engaging in news. They're not. I mean, they are, but they're engaging in politics more so. And every time something happens, they throw their political cant in there. And I think that the way that libertarians get 10% of the vote, 20% of the vote, 51% of the vote is we all engage people and we build that base, and we don't wait till 2024. We don't wait till 2023. We do it today. We engage those individuals. We build the base now. We just don't stop, and we don't stop until the whole system is gone. And that means different things for different people. My personal political beliefs. If we're going to have a House of Representatives that represents me, right now my rep is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's been in the news for her ridiculousness. I have called her office 20 or 30 times. I've gotten no response back. And I don't think it's because she thinks that I'm a piece of shit. She doesn't. The only thing she knows is my name and my phone number, and that I live in the city that I live in. But she oversees and represents several hundred square miles and hundreds of thousands of people. And to act like she can represent hundreds of thousands of people is really ridiculous. So know that the man did not finally get Adam. Adam is in Kentucky doing a free speech event. But no, I think that the House of Representatives needs to become vastly bigger. I'm talking several thousand seats. And that's if we keep the federal government. But honestly, I have no issue with police, with any government agency, if I have the ability to willfully not pay taxes and lawfully not pay taxes. If a cop acts in a ridiculous manner, and I have the ability to pull my backing financially and inform them that I want nothing to do with them until that issue is fixed, that is a perfect government for me. Because here's the deal. You do need security. For me, the perfect security is the militia. Because everybody's a volunteer and everybody is more involved, and everybody kind of has to get involved because it's a common concern at that point. It's not something that we can third party out. It's not something that we can hire somebody else to do that's a expert. Whereas most cops are not experts in anything. So the way that we become more relevant is that we force ourselves to be relevant. We engage people. I wholeheartedly think that Adam is probably the biggest. And if Jim, if you have numbers on this, if we have to just back down and let Adam represents the biggest libertarian platform, I think. But amongst, like, he's probably the same size as Steven Crowder, and Steven Crowder is not even the biggest Republican. He's not even in the top 10%, I would say. So we allow our base to get bigger. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think a lot of people in Texas feel like Texas had, in the past election, a good chance of going blue, but we remained red. I'm not really sure what the libertarian turned out like, I guess. There was way too much going on last year for me to pay attention to every single news event.
Well, from my understanding, the reason that Texas almost went blue is because people are leaving California en masse because of shitty laws, right? Is that kind of how you...
I've heard the same. I don't know how true that is statistically, of people moving here from California.
What have you seen? What is your viewpoint on that?
I think that's more a rumor that a lot of people spread. I think a lot of people kind of switched over to voting Democrat, but it doesn't make a a whole lot of sense. I guess it's because people feel like they only have one of two options, so they don't want to waste their vote. So people were just like, well, let's just go ahead and vote blue. Because a lot of people felt like if they were voting for independents, that they would be wasting their votes. Like, just talking to like different people I knew, they felt like, well, I mean, you might as well be voting Republican if you're going to vote independent, or do fill-in voting.
Okay. I mean, from the sounds of it, if they felt like they had no choice, I would find the people that feel like they have no choice but to vote blue or red and take them a color wheel and show them that gold is best. Like, that's kind of how that works. Gold is first prize. But no, seriously, I would find those people and I would engage with them, and I would figure out what they wanted from politics, and show them the libertarian perspective on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot of people in my generation, for whatever reason, gravitate strongly towards like far leftism. So it's kind of like alienating trying to discuss politics with some people because they're just quick to write you off.
How old are you?
26.
Okay, so you're 2 years younger than I am. So it's, yeah, I see that a little bit, but I don't know like what part of Texas you live in, and I've never been to Texas. I don't give a fuck. I've decided that I'm gonna live. Everyone seems to agree that the two-party system is broken, but suggests voting for a third party, and everyone loses their minds. Basically, I left Atlanta about a year ago because I wasn't willing to play Mayor Bottom's games anymore. And I did see where everything was going, and I just wasn't going to play around with it. And everything that I said was every prediction that I made about Atlanta has come true. I knew that the cops that ripped the kids out of the car and beat them and tased them and hurt them. Let me see that. And hurt them for the reason of traveling down a road they helped pay for. I knew those cops that had been fired and had been arrested were going to be rehired and the charges were going to get dropped, and it happened. Right? And it's not that I am Nostradamus. It's, you look around at what Mayor Bottoms has to say, and you look around at what she does, and you look at how she handles things, and she's a fucking tool. She's a fucking bad person. And I was just handed this, and I think that we should all take a minute. And yes, which strand is this?
Peach Mint Kush.
Peach Mint Kush. Yes. Georgia, a couple of weeks ago, allowed for medicinal marijuana. And in the law, there was a big debate about whether or not a cop could pull you over and ask for your medical ID because of HIPAA. So I have glaucoma. Yeah, that's how that worked, motherfuckers. But no, it's just, and that goes to my point. You can't. At some point, you've got to do what you've got to do to live your life, and we're going to get into that today. But the reason that I'm a free individual is because I chose to be a free individual. I interact with the system when I feel it's beneficial, and I don't when I feel it's going to be detrimental. And to answer your question, you do what you got to do. Like, if you want to be relevant, you engage. And if you don't want to get fucked with by the system, you disengage the system. And it is possible. I do it all the time. I engage people and I don't engage the system. And you go, well, how's that possible? You know the people that wear the blue pants and the brown pants? I don't talk to them. If they ask to see my ID, I force them to tell me what the crime they think I'm suspected of is, and then we go through the loop. And that's, I guess that's the last and only thing I can say to answer your question. Is you force yourself to engage other people, and you don't allow the government to engage you unless you find it beneficial for yourself. Comments, questions?
I guess I was going to say, like, a lot of libertarians use the Gadsden flag.
Yeah, the "Don't Tread on Me."
Yeah, for some reason, like, a lot of other people use it as well, and I don't think they know what it means, to be honest, because there's a lot of people at the Trump rallies, and they're still going on in Texas for some odd reason. They're still going on.
Well, so let's talk about that for a moment. Here we have, and I joke with my fiance about this, the double losers. So I live in the heart of Dixie, and it is very common. I have a neighbor up here. I can see one from here where it's the American flag, which, like, okay, whatever. And then it's the Georgia flag. And if you're not aware, Georgia has two flags. We have two official flags because they created one with the stars and bars, with the Confederate battle flag, and then they created another one recently, like 10 years ago or whatever, without the Confederate battle flag, and they're both acceptable. So a lot of the police departments in this area fly both. But I find it super fucking ironic when I see, like, the Confederate flag and the Trump flag, because it's just like, you motherfuckers like losing. And to go to your point about the Gadsden being flown everywhere, I have no control over my neighbors. I have no control over anyone else. But when I hear people use terms like freedom and liberty, if they use it at me, if they're like, "Oh, I believe in freedom, brother," I'm like, "Oh, okay. What does that mean? What is freedom?" Because we do not have a Second Amendment right now. I say that with an AR, 10 feet away from me. I have an AR-15. It's pretty similar to the one that I used in Afghanistan. But the Second Amendment wasn't written for rifles. It was written so that the populace, so that the militia, something that I'm very in favor of, has the ability, as long as they have financial resources, to arm themselves in the way of the military, right? Because there's not supposed to be a standing military. So I'm sorry, but I don't think that we can necessarily say that the Second Amendment is 100% intact if I can't legally own an M1A1 Abrams. I don't think that we can make that comment unless I can own an Apache. Now, I have looked up the price of Blackhawk, and an old Blackhawk from the 1990s is going to run about $3 or $4 million. And that should be the only thing that stops you from owning a Blackhawk, is that it's $4 million, and I don't have $4 million. But we have to figure out what those terms mean and what those symbols mean, and when we utilize them, I fly a Boogaloo, and there are people that take issue with my Boogaloo flag. And the reason that I fly a Boogaloo is I will stand up for anybody that is being victimized for who they are, unless who you are is a piece of shit. If you're a fucking child molester, I will use that Boogaloo to suffocate you with. But if you're a black dude and you're getting fucked with because you're black, I got you, boo. I got you, bro. If you're queer, I have nothing to say to you. If you're victimizing people because they're a minority and they fit into this small group, I'm gonna fuck your world up. I'm gonna try to fuck your world up verbally first. But at some point, I'm gonna fuck with your world. So hey, we do have a second caller. It looks like he's bouncing in and out. He might need to go somewhere. Any closing thoughts? Any closing remarks?
No, I had just brought up the Gadsden flag because anytime I've ever tried to use it to represent libertarianism, people always think it means good old boy Republican stuff for some reason. But that was my only last question, I guess. So I guess I'll hang up.
Well, we appreciate you calling in. You want to bring that second caller in, Jim?
He was there. He was coming up as I clicked the button, and then he just backed out. He might be having, he must be having connection issues, but he's reconnecting right now. So,
Okay.
a few seconds, he'll be up here.
Okay. Do you want to, while we're waiting for him, do you want to do some promos? Talk about some big ass cigars. Oh, here we go. Here he is.
Hey,
Who am I speaking with today?
I kept getting phone calls. Right?
It happened.
So, kind of a two-part thing, just because, like, I've been a fan of you in particular, just because you live in Georgia, and I remember living in Georgia when I was a kid. I lived in Atlanta actually also for 2 years during the Olympics, and that was the first time I'd ever even knew what racism was when I moved to Georgia, because I was a Yankee. I came from New England, so white people didn't like me, black people didn't like me. Pretty much had no friends when I lived in Atlanta, so Atlanta was
Well, that's
miserable
because
for
the
me.
Patriots fucking cheat at football every year. But anyways.
But so anyways, I just wanted to make that comment. But my other major comment was what do you think that we need to do as a country to, I mean, this COVID thing has gone on so long at this point, and it seems like the Democrats are doubling down when they realize it wasn't as deadly as it was, and they're doubling down and trying to make more restrictions and make more fear to justify all of the shutdowns that they had. And it's just, at this point, it's just absolutely asinine to think that a damn seasonal virus basically has shut down our country for over a year.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say this real quick. I realized I was in China 2019. 2020 rolls around. I'm in the States. I'm hearing about Wuhan, and Americans freak the fuck out because it's an 11 million person city, and it's not that big of a deal in China. You're talking about 1.4 billion people. So you're talking about less than 1% of the country is in this city, and this city has a few cases. They locked it down, and then we kind of panicked, and things went the way they went. But I'm going to say what I said previously to the other caller from Texas. I don't give a fuck. I have, and here's what I think Americans need to do to have a stronger country. Don't give a fuck. Don't care. If you need money, and the way that you get money is you do a certain trade, and the government says you can't do that anymore, why are you listening to them? When I was in school, I had a teacher who would talk over students when they said ridiculous shit. This was in like the 8th grade, and I had a classmate said that he thought that who was it? He thought that Abraham Lincoln was an alien, and the teacher just like blah 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 blah. And the way that we deal with dumbass politicians and dumbass laws is we just skate on by. Don't pay attention to it. Don't do what they want you to do. What they are trying to get us to do is to take their money. Why do they want us to take their money? Because if we're taking their money and they are our main source of income, and they say turn your guns in, you're really prompt, you're really likely to turn your guns in. If they say get a vaccine, you're really likely to get a vaccine.
Well, that's the whole basis of socialism, isn't it? As long as the government's paying your bills, you're not going to question what the government's doing over here,
Exactly.
right? So,
and so the way that you keep the government's bad shit from having anything to do with you is you just don't have anything to do with the government. If the government says you can't own guns, I'm going to take the logic of the day and say that my guns identify as potatoes.
I lost all mine in a boating accident.
No, see, I take issue with that statement because I'm just simply not going to let the government make decisions that they don't have the right to make. It would be like the government telling me what I am and am not allowed to have is no different than a burglar coming into my house and taking my shit. If the government takes my shit with a badge on their chest, they're a thief with a badge. It doesn't make them less of a thief. It doesn't make the badge any different. It just means that they're a thief with a badge. And I'm not going to play with their bullshit games. And the way that America deals with it is we say, I'm going to go shoot my potato, and I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm not going to get a vaccine that I don't want to get. And I don't have a problem with, I am a fundamental Christian. I am I do live a really conservative lifestyle. I am really concerned about what I put into my body. But the whole vaccine thing is really weird to me because from my understanding and the documents that I've read on that were written by the CDC, these vaccines are supposed to be in trial for years, not months. And I don't know what's in it. And because it's my body, I get to make the decision of what gets put into it. And if they want to question that, then we can have that debate. And at the end of the debate, I'm still not going to let them put something in my body. And we have to make a decision. We either play all of the government's games or none of the government's games. And I am 100% okay with you making your own individual decision. And I'm also 100% okay with you suffering 100% of all the consequences. So for me, we are about to live on a property with a well, and if the well fails, then I'm the one that made the decision to live on a property with a well. It's going to be my problem to fix the well. It's going to be my problem to make sure that the water is clean. I am sorry, but the people in Flint and the people in Flint, Michigan, with the water crisis that's still going on after 15 years, ish or whatever, and the people that are dealing with the water crisis in Florida, you chose to live in a house, you chose to buy a house, you chose to live in a part of the country where the only source of water legally was government sourced water, and you chose to make that decision. And I hate it for you, but you have to suffer those consequences. And if you wanted to dig a well illegally, I'm cool with that. If you wanted to,
what is an illegally dug well if you own the property though, or even if you don't own the property? I mean, it's like, how do you consider something like that illegal unless you're hurting the livelihood of somebody else?
20 miles that way.
And just, I don't know if you could see this, so I know a little thing or two about wells.
20 miles that way, you are required to use city and county water. It is 100% unlawful, and to use a well. And the reason is they need you to pay the water bill to have money.
Wow.
They make
And
that
people voted for these laws?
Yeah. They voted for the laws, and then they got upset when they had to pay the city to tie into the city water. That's Lafayette, Georgia, Walker County and Lafayette. you have to be tied into government provided water because that's a large source of their income. And then they get upset that the police.
Well, we have TVA around here.
Well, yeah, we have other sources of water. Like from where I'm at, we're very very close to the TVA, and everyone gets really really hyped up about all the recreational water. And I'm not gonna lie, I love canoeing the Tennessee River. The Chickamauga River is a phenomenal body of water. But they stole that fucking land. There were people when they built the TVA. They walked up and they handed people what the property was worth. Sorry, what the land was worth, not what the property was worth. And they said, "Hey, in 6 months, your property's probably going to be flooded." And they knocked all those houses down without a whole lot of consent. And the reasoning was it was a federal government project that had to go through. I'm not sure. It didn't have to go through. We don't have to have a dam right there. That's false. But they wanted a power source, and they wanted the power source to be right at the edge of Chattanooga. But anyways, you could make the decision to tell them to fuck off, and they didn't. And you could make the decision to say, "Hey, I'm not tying into your fucking water. I voted no. I'm not spending." I think some people spent $15,000 to tie into city water, and then they got a water bill the next month. You can make the decision to tell them to fuck off. So you're breaking up a little bit.
So that would have been cheaper to put a wall in.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, would have cost about 10.
A well would have cost about 10. From what I've seen, yeah, you're pretty close. I mean, the pump and everything, 10's probably about right in this area, with the water tables as low as they are. But the way that we as Americans get through COVID is we tell them to fuck off. Like you don't play games. Don't play games with the schoolyard bully when you know he's gonna kick your ass. And I had an incident with a corn pop back in the Dizzy, and he was a mean schoolyard bully. You know how you deal with a mean schoolyard bully? You put your foot directly in his face. So I do feel like the American people need to not only tell the entire government system to fuck off. When you tell them to fuck off, you need to be ready for those repercussions. And those repercussions could be jail time, or they could be a small little civil war, a big civil war. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, there's a woman that I love right over here, and I want her to have my kids, but I don't want my kids to have to deal with a bullshit government that harasses them and hurts them. And if what I have to do to preserve liberty for the next generation is to deal with this now, I want to deal with this right now. I don't want to deal with this in 6 months. I don't want to deal with this in 10 years. I want to deal with it now.
So you brought up earlier about our well-regulated militia. The problem is that individually, I mean, we're all but powerless against the government. We really need to come together to take our country back. And I don't mean necessarily just by going to war, but there's a lot of things that we can do that aren't violent, and violence obviously being the last option. But it seems like people like to talk about it, but nobody wants to make an active effort to move towards taking our government back. Everyone likes to bitch about it. Nobody wants to do anything about it.
Yeah. And so there was a comment. Can you throw Craig's comment back up? I feel Steven's answers to most situations to tell someone to fuck off. And then I call it the Japanese emoji. If you put your nose in my business and it has nothing to do with you, then yes, my answer is probably going to be fuck off. If it's a situation that involves me and somebody else, I'm not going to tell them to fuck off. We're gonna have a mutual discussion, and we're gonna come up with an answer that helps everybody. preferably. And I've taken the hit, and I've been into decisions where I walked in knowing that we had to fix something. I was probably going to get fucked, and I'm dealing with one of those now with a family member, and I'm okay with getting fucked if I'm the one choosing to walk into the room. But if the government wants to stick their nose into my business, and I don't want them there, then yes, Craig, my answer will always be fuck off. I love the videos where the guy walks up to the cop and goes, "Hey, do you have any illegal guns, drugs, knives, pornography that you're not allowed to have?" And the cop's like, "What? Huh? What?" He goes, "Is it okay if I search your car, man in the deputy clothing?" And he's like, "No, I'm a deputy. You can't search my car." And he goes, No, I have the right to search your car." I fucking love those TikToks. I understand that some of the cast here on Adam vs. the Man have issue with TikTok right now. I fucking love those TikToks. If they have the right to stick their nose in your business, you have the right to stick your nose in their business. If they have the right to search your vehicle, you have the right to search their vehicle. 100% of the time. This is not a one-way road. I don't believe in one-way roads. All of my roads are two-way, motherfuckers. Fuck off, Craig. Fuck off. I love you, Craig. But no, I think the way the Americans deal with COVID is we figure out what's beneficial for us as individuals, and we do that. It was beneficial for me to live in Atlanta, so I lived in Atlanta. And when it wasn't beneficial for me to live in Atlanta, I left Atlanta. Do what's beneficial for you. Prosper. You're an American. You're supposed to want to prosper. I do hold this comment up real quick for me. Did you have any more remarks or questions or anything?
No. I know you guys have some other callers probably, so just stay safe, everybody, and we'll get through all this bullshit. Thanks.
Okay. I appreciate you. Have a great day. If anybody else wants to call in, call in. I know what we said, but let's do some promos. And while we're doing promos, I want to pull the video up of the church in Canada if we can. For no other reason than I think it's amazing. So promos.
I'm not sure which church. Did you send me a link for that?
I will grab it, but somebody mentioned it, and I want to show it to the world.
Oh, okay. All right. You grab that link and send it to me, and then we can access that. Until then, I'm going to go ahead and remind everybody, if they want to join the backstage channels of the show, you can go join on Telegram Messenger app. There's a group, t.me/Adam versus the Man. That's a public channel, so anybody can join it. It's a really cool. We talk while the show is going on, and we talk while the show is not live. It's pretty much 24 hours a day, like most messenger apps that you can imagine. If you want to join the private producers club, we have a private chat as well on the same app, on Telegram app. The one at the bottom of the screen is the public. If you want to join the private one, you can do that by going to our Patreon, which is right on our website that you see at the bottom of the screen. As soon as I get this out of your way, AdamVersusTheMan.com. This is our beautiful website. Click on the Patreon. That's going to show you the different ways you can support the show. $1, $5, $10, or even $50 a month. $10 a month is going to get you access to the Producers Club, the private Producers Club that I mentioned. So that's awesome. Definitely check that out. Get yourself access the easy way, or keep working at trying to win a contest. Either way, it's up to you. After that, go back to the website we got and check out the shop that CJ's put together. He's got a bunch of everything you can think of, with Adam versus the Man logo, or the Freedom logo, or catchy sayings like this one. This shirt says, "As a libertarian, ... As a libertarian," it's one of Adam's famous sayings, so if you want to have that as a shirt, definitely check out the shop. And always remember that Producers Club members and better patrons get 15% off of everything in this shop, and they get free shipping on the merchandise. So definitely take advantage of that. After that, click on the Cigar Federation. Check out our affiliate program. That's what you saw Steven smoking on earlier here. He clicked this button. He went to this website and he picked him out some juicy flavored cigars. And he also no doubt used promo code Adam10 to get 10% off of everything. This is him. Oh, he just put it down there. Oh, that's not the cigar. My bad. There it is.
I'm sorry,
but
dude.
okay,
I don't know
whatever.
what to do with my hands.
Anyways, okay, yeah, promo code Adam10 gets you 10% off the entire Cigar Federation store. Definitely an awesome store. Check it out. After that, you can definitely check out Instagram. Adam has some new pictures up, so that's cool. At the Garden of Freedom, you can see him lounging here. You can see his cat grow. God, the cats are getting so big. That's crazy. If you scroll back a ways, you can see these cats being super tiny. Here's one right here. See this little cat right here? This little tiny baby cat? Scroll all the way up. That's what the cat looks like now. Isn't that something? That's how you can keep up with how they're growing, how fast they're growing, everything that's going up with there. So it's definitely cool. Check out Instagram at the Garden of Freedom. A couple more things we got to talk about. We got a list of promos because there's a lot to talk about. Thecrypto6.com. Check that out. There's some people in trouble. They need help with legal fees. They got raided over some Bitcoin, a Bitcoin church. It's a horrible situation. Definitely give that a Google. Scan these codes if you want to help them out in any way, shape, or form so they can get their situation taken care of and we can bring light to their situation. And lastly, if you're ever thinking about going off grid, you should contact gogreenenergyonline.com. It's a great website that has all kinds of great resources for if you're looking to go off grid. So definitely, if you have any thoughts of that, just play around on the website, check out your different options, pick the guy's brain, ask questions, emails. Definitely, knowledge is power, you know, so get yourself some. Go Green Energy Online and get yourself some knowledge about off grid.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I got for the promos, brother. So back to
So
you.
I threw the video in the private chat.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me get to that.
But here's what's going to happen. Craig's going to come to realize that Canadians are like Steven too, and they can tell you to fuck off. But no, the video that we're about to see, we're only going to show like 30 seconds of it because it's the video that I saw was like 25, 30 minutes, and I don't want to play all that for obvious reasons. Churches are holy ground. Yeah, so just play it right there and
Get out of this property. Immediately get out. Get out of this property immediately. Out. I don't want to hear anything. Out of this property immediately. I don't want to hear a word. Out. Out. Out of this property immediately until you come back with a warrant. Out. 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 Out of this property. Immediately out. Immediately go out and don't come back. I don't want to talk to you. Not a word. Out of this property. Immediately out. I don't care what you have to say. Out. Out.
pause it right there.
Out of this property, you Nazis. Out.
Okay, so back it up just like 15 seconds. I want to see that lady's face. I want to explain to everybody what's going on. Okay. Yeah. So obviously there's a bunch of cops, and then the blonde lady, if you notice, she was not a police officer. This is in Canada this past weekend, which was Easter. And Easter is a very important service. And last Easter, I was intimidated by the Popo. And I told them, fuck off. Not really. I basically did tell them to fuck off. I didn't say fuck off. But this lady right here works for the Canadian Department of Human Health. Unlike the Canadian Department of Fecal Matter Health or the Canadian Department of Animal Health or whatever bullshit thing they want to do. And what happened was the Canadian government said, look, we understand that y'all need to have church on Easter. It's really important. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna inspect your church and let you know how many people you can bring in. What? Fuck off. Fuck off. So they went ahead. A bunch of churches in the area allowed them to come in and inspect, and they were told you can't have anybody in here because the ceiling's too low and doesn't allow for enough air. You don't have enough ventilation, so you can't let anybody in. You don't have enough windows to open up, so you can't let anybody in. None of the churches were healthy enough. So this gentleman, when they were supposed to inspect his building, was not there. They showed up a few times to inspect, and he just made sure that he wasn't there. The doors were locked. He was not present. None of his deacons were present. And on the day of the service, an hour or so, they showed up in force. And that's the video you saw. And to you, sir, I award you big brass balls. I would deliver you big brass balls, but I think that your balls are so big that we cannot add one more ounce, or you will become unmovable. Big brass balls. Let's bring Mercedes in for a second. Let's let her talk about comments. It's been an hour.
Hi.
Hello, Mercedes. How are you?
Oh, I'm here. Comments are just plugging along. I've been posting them the whole time as you've been talking. As we do. So, just I didn't have a comment contest today or anything. But pineapple
Are we
pizza.
doing a comment contest? My
I
bad.
think are we going to do a comment contest or a call-in contest? I mean,
You're the contest holder person.
ew.
This is your job, Mercedes.
Today it is, yes. If we're going to have a contest, I'm going to ask you to make me giggle. At all. I have a very dark sense of humor too. So I'm going to need some laughs today. On this
You have a
mental
dark
health
sense of humor?
Monday. Yes. Yes, I do.
How do you paint a room red in 10 seconds?
Hey, look, there we have a caller.
Mercedes,
I don't know. What?
how do you paint a room red in 10 seconds?
Depends on if you leave the blender lid on or off.
You throw a baby into a ceiling fan.
Blenders work too. It's fine. That was real dark though. Anyway. Nat. Nat for the win.
So, did Fina come on to
I don't know.
caller? What is
I
going
don't
on
know.
with Fina?
Fina, you want to call in Fina here? I'll add her. I'll stay on for this too because I love. Good morning. Aloha.
Good morning. Aloha. I think I walked in on the wrong end of that baby conversation. You know
Yeah.
what? I walked in on the wrong end of baby conversations before. So one time I heard the term baby gravy. And I really thought they were talking about putting some baby meat in a frying pan and sauteing that shit with some flour, salt and pepper and stuff. No, they weren't talking about that. But that's what my mind said. Baby gravy.
What is baby gravy?
Wait, weren't you guys in the Navy? Shouldn't you know exactly what baby gravy is? Since you're a bunch of
That's the
seamen.
thing. There's this do you go the dark side or do you go the perverted side with jokes in the Navy? And there are just as many dark jokes as there are perverted jokes in the Navy. So
yeah, that's what I mean is you guys play with semen all the time. You'd think you'd know what baby gravy is. So
well, like I said, we also talk about cannibalism too.
That's a thing on small islands. Yes.
I bet if I ask Steven right now, he's got some in the bag, dead baby jokes.
So let's not go into no. I'm stopping this right now. No.
So
Okay, we each get one then.
What is more impressive than 10 babies in one blender? One baby and 10 blenders equaled out.
See, I told you.
Okay.
Oh.
Here's mine. I'll go next.
How do you know if a woman's pregnant with a black baby or a white baby?
Oh no! Abort, Steven. How?
No racism jokes. That's not cool.
No.
That's
But
cool.
But here's this one. What's red, homesick, and crawls up? I fucked it up. What's red and crawls up your leg? A homesick abortion.
Ooh. I spent 36 months in combat, and that's fucked up.
Yeah, what's even worse is that you used to hang her from your closet, so it's fine. And that's why abortion should not be illegal. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Honestly, though, bad jokes are based in truth. That's why we use them to cope. Bad dark humor helps you cope with some bad shit because this world is super dark.
All right.
Which is why we smoke weed and tell the baby jokes.
Sophia, what'd you come on here for? Did you come on here for baby jokes?
Yeah, I came on here in my bathrobe, in my nightgown, like I said I would do. Messed up hair because
I'm only going to hell because all my friends are going to. It's fine. It's gonna be a party. Party in hell. So Jim said he has a. Oh, Matt. Matt says
Smoke weed
Oh.
every day.
You guys smoke.
That's just me.
I can't smoke weed.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. You ready for the next episode?
Snoop Dogg. Oh yeah. So Matt says, "Tell us about the films, damn it, Fina."
All right. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a part-time. I'm an artist. That's what I really like to describe myself as an artist. But yeah, I've got some films. One of them is a I'm gonna look for it's a musical set in a post-dystopian time, and it's about military procedural compliance. And hold on one second, and I will pull up the video and send it to Jim.
Yeah, I want to see that because I haven't gotten to see it, and I really have been wanting to.
I know you guys actually want to watch the film, but the film itself is like 20 minutes long. So
I just want to see a clip.
So I know
the trailer.
So let's do this real quick. Let's play the video in like 4 minutes. But
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about coping with bootlickers a lot today.
Yeah, we need to talk about that because my dad's a bootlicker.
Well, we've talked about that. Like the way that you deal with bootlickers is you say fuck off.
I know, and that's what I told him.
Hi Ed.
Oh, hi Ed.
Hi, is it co-host call-in day?
It is.
Yeah.
It must be now. Yes. Co-hosts unite. But I'm gonna drop out quick because I need to go co-host more coffee.
So anybody know what this is? Ed's got his finger on the trigger. There's a killer.
This call is brought to you today by CZB. The CZ40B.
Anybody know what this is, Mina?
No. You told me to get the clip. Do you think if I had the clip ready to go, what do you got? Looks like maybe peanut butter at the bottom of a jar that you save for your. I don't know. Okay, so now we're looking at maybe just a jar of peanut butter that's frozen. Cold.
Ed is pointing that gun right at me. I don't know how to feel about this. All right, this is peanut butter.
Oh, cool. Peanut butter.
Not peanut butter, but peanut butter. Ed was in. Empty says it looks like resin. So
Cosmoline.
So what?
Cosmoline. That's a good guess.
So let's talk about suicide.
No, why? Why the fuck do we want to talk about suicide? Shit, the news? I looked at the news articles. I don't remember seeing suicide anywhere.
So, we're doing it a little bit different than today. We're doing 4 big blocks, and the call-ins took a long time, which I'm cool with.
I can hang up.
So what?
I said I can hang up.
No, don't hang up.
Not yet. Says the guy who talks about suicides. No, don't hang up. Don't hang up.
Well, so I looked earlier, and it's a stat. If you could throw up that link that I sent you at the beginning of the chat today, the leading cause of death for Americans, I couldn't find a global one, but it's probably best that I didn't find a global one because the global one isn't going to be super accurate. Some countries don't take a lot of notes. It's the first table, Jim. It's the first table. Keep going. Up. There you go. Yeah, that box. So the second cause of death for people that are sub 35 is suicide, and then 35 to 54 it's the fourth, and then overall I think it's 10. I'm not sure what the difference between unintentional and intentional is, because I would say that an intentional accident is suicide, and an unintentional accident could be a car accident or any number of things you didn't mean to. Okay, you want me to stop, Fina?
A little bit, but I want to share something with you about like intentional and unintentional suicide. There's no greater failure in life than a failure in death. I know that from experience. And I don't think we're given enough, what happens next stories, right? After you rebound, right? You can rebound. And I'm a good story about that. I'm a good story. I'm like, I'm going to be like, hey, I want to rebound like her, right? And I want to do that, right? But I mean, I've also seen, being in the military, bad rebound stories, and I'll never forget when I was in the military and I was on the quarterdeck of the ship, staying in my little petty officer of the watch and taking phone calls like I do for this show, right? And I got a phone call about one of our sailors who had just tried to take his life, and it was from the hospital. Of course, I gave the phone away as soon as possible because it ain't none of my business, right? I gave it to the right person who was supposed to take, should hear that kind of information, not me. A little low guy on the totem pole. Anyway, so the important part about this story is the next day he was on the side of the boat painting the ship with a rope mark around his neck. The very next day. Yeah. And I think we should be taking, when people take these drastic, excuse me, it's still morning. When people take these drastic measures of trying to take their lives in their hands, we need to take it a little bit more seriously, because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage. And I don't think I'll ever muster up enough courage again to do that, to be serious about it and not just be, oh my gosh. Sorry, Stephen. There's a reason why I don't like when you guys talk about suicide. I've had a lot of suicide in my life, and I don't like rehashing it and reliving it. And but I did get that video link in the private chat over on the StreamYard of my film that is dedicated in honor of those who served and barely survived, and in memory of those who didn't.
Okay.
de América y a la República indivisible, omnipotent, justitia